What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the LSU Tigers schedule preview. But if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it greatly helps out my channel and it helps me grow as a content creator. Well, the LSU Tigers had a pretty good season last season. They was able to make it to the SEC championship. To play against the Georgia Bulldogs, who are currently the college football's champ. But they put up a good fight, guys. Was able to put up some points when they made a quarterback change in Garrett Nussmeier. But overall, I'm gonna just go over their, preview for their upcoming schedule. Last season, they was able to go 10-4. This was Brian Kelly's first year as the head coach. Like I said, made it to the SEC championship. Dropped a couple of games, here and there that they, in my opinion, shouldn't have dropped. But I'm gonna read, just a little bit. The 4 games that they did drop last season was against, their first game was against Florida State Seminoles. They lost by a point. Very, very competitive game. And if I'm not mistaken, they played them again this season. So that's going to be interesting. They lost to Tennessee at home. Struggled, made a lot of mistakes in their first half. And you can't afford to do that against a team like Tennessee. Tennessee got the lead, and they held it, and it was just hard for LSU to come back at that time. I felt like LSU was still trying to get things, situated with them as far as their offense was concerned. And they also took a loss to the Texas A&M Aggies. Um, again, just they went on the road. It was hard, playing against the Texas A&M Aggies. Us Alabama fans know that was a tough place to play at in 2021 when we went there. And LSU fell up short, 38-23. That was their third loss of the season. Then, of course, like I said, SEC championship against the current champs, the Georgia Bulldogs, but still was able to put up some points, but just fell short. Really wasn't, competitive during the game. Once the Georgia Bulldogs got going, it was just hard. But for the most part, LSU had a good season, considering it was Brian Kelly's first season there. And they're bringing a lot of back offensively for this upcoming season. And I'm going to just read off, their schedule. As a matter of fact, their first game for this upcoming season is against the Florida State Seminoles. So they get to play them again. But this time, I think they're playing them at in Florida State's home, Orlando, Florida. So huge matchup, their quarterback, Florida State's quarterback, Jordan Travis, really, really good quarterback. They got him coming back. That offense is going to be really, really good. He was very, very slippery last season, very fast. Just had that attitude, that he was going to get it done. And they was able to pull it off by a point. But this time they're playing, at home, so they're going to have home advantage. The LSU Tigers are going to have to travel to Orlando, Florida. And it's going to be interesting for the Tigers. First game going on the road, into Florida territory. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Jaden Daniels comes back as the quarterback. But like I said, Garrett Nussmeier, the better passer of the two. Jaden Daniels definitely brings that running threat. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. That's going to be a big matchup. Very, very good matchup to watch, when the season starts off. So I'm definitely going to be watching that game. Their next game, September 9th, is against the Grambling State Tigers. At home, like I said, again, LSU should be sharpening up, what they did in their first matchup. Move some players around, get some other guys some playing time. But definitely a game that the Tigers should win. Like I said, be able to get some younger guys in there to get some experience, to get ready for the upcoming season, upcoming games, down the line. But definitely a cleanup game, in my opinion. Next game against the Mississippi State Bulldogs in Starkville, going on the road. Mississippi State, lost head coach Mike Leach. He's no longer with us, but definitely had a good team while he was alive. And Zach Arnett has been named the new head coach. Young guy, great defensive mind. Had a really, really good Mississippi State Bulldog defense since he's been there. It's going to be interesting to see what he does, in his first season as a head coach. Young guy. He's got a new offensive coordinator, and Kevin Barbay coming from Appalachian State. We all know Appalachian State's one of them teams that will shock you. It doesn't matter if you're a Power 5 or not. Appalachian State beat Texas A&M last season, so definitely going to have to look out for Mississippi State. Will Rogers come back, very, very experienced quarterback. It's like he's been there forever. They're definitely going to change up the offense for Mississippi State, going from an air raid to a different type of offense. And Mississippi State could be a team to look out for the LSU Tigers. Like I said, Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken, who won the matchup last season? I can't remember. Yeah, LSU won that game 31-16, but Mississippi State was looking like, LSU won that matchup 31-16, but Mississippi State looked like they was going to win that game, at first, but LSU was able to step up and win that game handily. And but always got to watch out for them Bulldogs. Always a tough team to play against. Then the Arkansas Razorbacks host, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, this was a game last season. Let me look at the score. Last season, Arkansas was at home, almost, pulled off the upset and almost beating LSU, at that time. By that time, LSU already had 2 losses, but Arkansas played a tough matchup, 13-10, almost lost that matchup, but, at home, at Arkansas for the LSU Tigers, but this year they host the Razorbacks at home, so I know LSU would like to have a better outing than they did last time going on the road in Arkansas, almost losing. It's always tough playing in other SEC schools' stadium. The crowd noise, a lot of things play a factor, home field advantage, but the Tigers host the Arkansas Razorbacks, a team where Sam Pittman has made improvement with them. They have since, changed offensive coordinators. They have now Dan Enos as their offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach. What he can do with KJ Jefferson can be huge for the Arkansas Razorbacks. They're going to need it, though, because they're going to Baton Rouge. They're going to Tiger territory. It's going to be very, very hard, to come out of Baton Rouge with a win. And then, of course, LSU goes on the road to Oxford, Mississippi, to play the Ole Miss Rebels. Very, very good game last season. Those two teams were battling for the West last season. And Ole Miss, if I'm pretty sure, Ole Miss lost that matchup last season. Yeah, LSU beat them 45-20. Ole Miss, a team, got some coaching turnover as well. They now have, our former defensive coordinator, Pete Golden, as their defensive coordinator. And as long as Lane Kiffin's there, the offense is going to be really, really good, especially with who they got out of transfer portal and Spencer Sanders. This guy is a beast of a player and can definitely make Ole Miss, really, really good offensively, possibly even better than Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart came in from USC. Really, really good team, young guy, but at times seemed like, he didn't have a full grasp of the offense. But if they were to name Spencer Sanders as the head quarterback, the guy, man, watch out for Ole Miss, going on the road and playing in that territory for LSU Tigers. But that's a very, very tough game for LSU on the road. Then LSU goes to Columbia, play Missouri Tigers, scrappy team. Not as talented as LSU. LSU overall has the better talent. But as last season can show you, Missouri Tigers a game for anybody. Played Georgia really, really good. Just didn't have anything offensively. But watch out for the Missouri Tigers, a team on the road for the LSU Tigers. Then, of course, they host the Auburn Tigers. New head coach, Hugh Freeze, coming in. We all know what great offensive mind that Hugh Freeze has, and he has a lot of guys around him. Got Philip Montgomery coming in as the offensive coordinator. Got Ron Roberts on the defense. So Ron Roberts loves to create havoc on defense. So it's going to really, to me, in my opinion, it's going to come down to Ron Roberts' defense versus LSU's offense. LSU has a very, very good offensive players coming back for this season. LSU could possibly have one of the best offenses in the SEC this season. So we all know the Tiger matchup, always a good game between the two Tigers. And this time LSU hosts Auburn. So very, very interesting matchup. which Tiger is going to win in that matchup. That's going to be must-watch TV. And of course, LSU plays the Army Black Knights. Like I said, Army, a team, got a pretty good scheme, offensively. Very, very tough team, but LSU should be able to handle that matchup, considering with the talent that they bring in. And LSU's defense on the in the back end, they got to fill in some roles. They brought in some transfers, but they shouldn't expect too much passing with the Army, Black Knights, primarily a running team. So I expect LSU to have that situation bottled up, especially guys like Mason Smith coming back. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that matchup. Then LSU gets an off week on October 28th, bye week. I always get this bye week before they play on November 4th, my Alabama Crimson Tide. They got to go to Tuscaloosa. My Crimson Tide lost to them last season in Baton Rouge. Normally, Alabama does really, really well going in Baton Rouge, but it's still a tough place to play. But Alabama, we failed to win last season, and that loss stopped us from going to the SEC championship last season, even though we took an early loss to Tennessee. So I know my Alabama Crimson Tide, we have that marked on our calendar to play the LSU Tigers and host them at home. Should be a great game. We're bringing in a lot of new guys. We got a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Like I said, LSU is going to be tough. They have some guys that played some last season on the O-line. I think they started 2 freshman tackles. They're going to have more experience. Got some wideouts, some elite neighbors. A lot of good players on that team. And going to be a tough matchup in Tuscaloosa, no doubt. But LSU got to go on the road, play my Alabama Crimson Tide. Always watch that game. Just a classic game. So that's going to be very exciting. Then the LSU Tigers on November 11th host the Florida Gators. Another great matchup, between the Bay Tigers and the Florida Gators. Really, really good matchup. Host them at home. LSU has the advantage in them. The last couple times they played, LSU has the better record. But it's tough for the LSU Tigers to go on the road to play the Gators. But this year, the Tigers host them. So it's going to be tough for the Gators. Last season was a not really good team, overall. And they got a lot of questions they got to ask, get answered. And it's going to be interesting to see what Florida brings to the Tigers in Baton Rouge. Then, of course, LSU plays Georgia State Panthers. Another matchup where they can clean up some things during the season that they didn't, touch up on some things that they need to get fixed. Name the score type of game, I feel. Georgia State, pretty scrappy team, but shouldn't be able to keep up with LSU talent-wise. Then the LSU Tigers finish off the season, and they host the Texas A&M Aggies at home. The Aggies this year, Jimbo Fisher has relinquished calling the plays. He's bringing in Joe Petrino, great offensive mind. Expect the Texas A&M offense to take a huge jump. Defensively, I think they're going to be fine. Texas A&M, tough team. They beaten us in 2021, played us tough last season, almost beat us last season. My Alabama Crimson Tide, we had too many turnovers with Jalen Miro, but expect Texas A&M. Despite all those struggles, Texas A&M is still a really, really good team. Definitely a team. If they're clicking on offense, watch out. Texas A&M could be a problem. But the LSU Tigers get them at home, and that's it for the regular season. And of course, on December 2nd, whoever wins the West will go to the SEC championship. We all know that was LSU last season. Can they do it again? Can they win the West? That's going to be very interesting. They got all the talent in the world. LSU can play with anybody in the country. I'll put money on that. It doesn't matter who they play. LSU has the talent to play with anybody. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in year 2 under Brian Kelly. But I'm looking at the schedule. Like I said, they got to go on the road, play Florida State. They got to go on the road, play my Alabama Crimson Tide. Got to go on the road to play Ole Miss. For the most part, their schedule is favorable. They got a lot of good games at home. Like I said, they host the Texas A&M Aggies. The They host the Florida Gators. They host the Auburn Tigers. They host Arkansas Razorbacks. They host a lot of these teams. They got to go on the road to play Mississippi State, but they got a pretty favorable game, guys. Like I said, the toughest one going to be going on the road to Tuscaloosa. That's going to be tough. Playing against my Alabama Crimson Tide. And Ole Miss sneaky good. Be a sneaky good team. But I don't think they have anything to worry about going on the road in Starkville. The Cowbells could be a problem, but I think with a new head coach, you expect LSU probably to be, the favorites in that matchup, even though it's a road game. But like I said, the tough matchup on the road at Alabama and going on the road and playing the Ole Miss Rebels. So favorable schedule, guys, for the LSU Tigers. But what do you guys think? Do you think LSU is going to eventually be the SEC West representative? Do you think they drop a couple of games here and there? You guys let me know in the comment section. And once again, guys, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.